It's real out here in these streets.
The streets of Vegas.
Put in some work, Northtown staying trying to get off a bird. But spit a shell, you know how dead skin sells. And let the rapper dead, I'll send this mic hand in the mail.
Into Vegas, man. Season 3, episode 4 with my man T.Rabb, man. If I gotta say, this is probably the longest overdue one. We did a couple of shows, but I don't know, man. We finally caught up and it's happening in quarantine mode, man. So we gonna get it in, man. This is this cat, man, has been putting it in these streets of Vegas, man, on the music scene for a long time, man, for a minute. Plenty of mixtapes, plenty of albums all over North, the North Las Vegas, Vegas in general. You know, his resume and body of work speaks for itself, man. So we really gonna get into it, man. Really get into depth and detail about his whole career, his journey, his path, and where he's at now. So first of all, welcome to the show, man. Welcome to the show. How you doing, man?
Right. Hey, I appreciate you having me. I'm good. Yeah, life is well. You know, I can't complain. Man. I appreciate you having me.
I don't know why it took so long, but it's we in here now, man. So. And now we like we in quarantine mode, we on Zoom or whatever. So how's things out there in LA now, man? How long you been out there now?
I've been to LA for about a year. Came out here pretty much almost a year to the date. I came out here around this time last year.
Okay.
But, it's been cool, you know. Yeah. I mean, ain't nothing like Vegas. I gotta put that out there. Ain't nothing like Las Vegas, but it's been a great experience.
Yeah, made the adjustment and everything is cool and stuff. Yeah. Weather is definitely different, huh? It ain't as hot, huh?
Yeah. The weather is beautiful. It's like usually like these last few weeks or whatever. It's like 70 degrees throughout the day. You really can't beat that. I do miss the heat. Like I like it being hot outside. You don't really get hot like that. And of course it's cooler at nighttime, but the weather, the weather's fine.
Yeah.
You can't beat
it. Beach weather, man, huh?
Right, exactly.
How does that work for your does it put you in a different mood creatively, being in a different environment, a new environment? Like, does it put you in another mood creatively?
It's definitely a different vibe out here, but with the whole quarantine and everything, I haven't been able to really navigate the city to really get that atmosphere in.
Okay.
But I do feel like the music that I'm making at this time is a little
trying to hide, can't ignore fate. Lay your body, now you're North face.
The other Sunday had to put in some work. Northtown staying trying to get off a bird. Curve to curve from my whip out the purge. Come out the guy. The only way you smacking if she drunk or high. Hold on. Call the FBI. Before I give me a word and family first, it don't matter the verdict.
It probably would have been different either way. As time progressed, you mold into a different artist, but it is a different vibe. You know what I mean? It's a more chill, more laid back, that type of, energy.
Okay. And speaking of music and evolving and stuff, we're gonna take it back. And what would you say was your initial inspiration, man, for getting in the game initially?
For rhyming in general, I don't know. I don't know if it was, me growing up and seeing you doing it, or me being immersed in music all that time. But I know early on it was something that I wanted to try, but I can't remember that the actual thing that was like, okay, I want to write, I want to start. You know what I mean?
Maybe it just kind of happened, man. Huh?
Yeah, just being around that much music.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. And I know really in the Cheyenne days played a big part. That was kind of like even, would you say even before high school? Would you say even like middle school?
Because when I first think about it, so if I want to try to pinpoint a time when I started taking it a little more seriously, I can say kind of early on in high school, and that was Joseph. I used to run with Joseph and Gary, and
at
the time when we this probably maybe 9th or 10th grade. Joseph and Gary was like they trying to come up with like a rap group, right?
Joseph was in something too. Okay.
So Joseph, Gary, me, Jabari at the time. Jabari was kind of in and out.
Jab, go back, man. Shout out to Jab.
I mean, Jab Tawa. I'm saying Jabari because back then it was Jabari. That's what it was.
Jab Tawa. Yeah.
Jay Hayes. He was Jay Hayes back then.
Wow.
So, Joe had came to me and was like, "Yo, we trying to put together a group." And you the only one that really know how to rap. Like you can rap already. You feel me? Jab was nice, but they was kind of like just starting out. And I had never really made songs, but I could freestyle. So they was like, well, you the only one that already know how to rap. So like, you got to be a part of the group. So that's how everything kind of like, I kind of spurred it. So we started doing our thing. Joseph kind of fell back. You know, Joseph had a lot going on. He already had kids and all that at that time. So he kind of fell back. Jab was doing his own thing, so it was really just me and Gary. That's how it ended up. That's how the whole block burners.
Block burners. I remember the block burners
because we was like the last ones left that was still rhyming. So I'm at
That's so crazy when you look back like that. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, like that's the whole, you know, how everything started. So I was going to Gary's house, and Gary had like the computer USB mic that looked like a lapel mic or some shit. Yeah, we was recording on that. Like we was making music on that.
Yeah, you got to do what you got. So, you got to do what you use what you can. So
that was like my earlier like recording and we making music and all that. And at that time, you was doing your thing, but I didn't even feel like what I was doing was legit enough to even come to you like, hey, yo, we trying to record at the crib, because you had the whole setup at the crib. But I'm recording that. I'm recording that Gary's spot, because we still trying to get it together. I feel like we still trying to get right.
Yeah.
So we was working and I started to really kind of like catch my little stride, and that was like the transition into me making my first tape and me like, okay, you know, I'm asking you, show me how to use Cool Letter Pro. Show me how to I was already messing with FL at the time. You had already put me on the FL. So I'm starting to mess with FL. So I know FL a little bit, but also you showing me how to, you know, the different recording programs and all that. And that's how I end up getting off into, you know, the Truth mixtape. That's why Gary, I think Gary is the only feature on there with the we have a song. I think that's on that same tape. I don't know if that's one or two, but that was all that same time period.
He got a feature on there on the first.
I think I don't know if it's the first one or the second one.
Something like that. But he was around in that time. Huh?
He was around that time. We made music during that time.
That is
but he was
crazy.
Like, so they like, so just like the neighborhood homies was a big like catalyst in that, because I was always rhyming. I was always, you know, the people start beatboxing. I'm freestyling in lunch and all that, but I never was really making songs.
Yeah, that was a different thing. Yeah, and then speaking about that first project, what was it? The Truth? Is that the one we had that we sent out for the covers and all that? The first one?
Facts.
The Truth. The one that was kind of like a black dark background and kind of that was a classic one though. That was a banger.
That was my first. You know, that was the first day out. You know, looking back on it, it's like, man, it's like it was terrible. But when I think about it, I'm like, it was kind of, you know, wild for it to be my first tape, and I'm producing on it. I'm recording all the songs. You know, so it was a big leap, and you know,
that was a huge leap. That was
my ascension in the rapping. So for sure.
When did you think? When do you think the production part started coming up? Because I know, like back in that whole mixtape era, cats was just rapping over beats. So when did you feel like I want to try my hand at the producing aspect of it? Like when did that part start coming about? You think?
For me at that time, because I was making beats before I was really writing rap, so I was already incorporating that, you know, day one. But of course, over time, I got better and better with the production to where it's like I get to the point to where I'm making whole tapes where it's just me producing.
Right.
But it was always me learning that first. It was always a part of my music, was the whole, you know, the whole production thing.
And you killed that FL studio. I still can't do some of the stuff you're doing in there. I couldn't take off with it, man. I had everything, but I just couldn't learn it like that, man. Is that even to this day, is that your preferred weapon of choice, the FL studio?
That's definitely my medium. Of course, I use the machine here and there, you know, to do certain things. But what's crazy is, you know, the alleged, you know, crack file you gave me. That's the same. You feel me? That's the same one I've been using.
That's crazy.
It was crazy. I was talking to the homie. He had sent me I got a beat from him, and he sent it to me so I can edit it or do whatever I wanted to do to it. And I couldn't even open it up because I had the old version of FL. And I didn't even realize it because I'm like in my own bubble with doing my thing. Like I'm on FL 9, they like on FL 20
some 20. Right. And so you like, because it's not the same, you can't even open it nowadays.
You can't even open it because it's too far behind.
So what did you have to do? What did you have to do?
I couldn't even open it up. Like I'm getting FL now just so I can do that.
Be up to date.
Collab on you know, instead of somebody sending you the whole stems, you actually have the project to where you can edit inside of the project. So
so you can go back and change something and arrange something, do like it. Okay.
Instead of, because usually they're sending stems, you gotta try to chop everything up piece by piece. But a lot of people was tripped out because I'm like, they couldn't believe I'm making all this on FL9. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's why I always say it's not what you have, it's the person behind it. You know what I mean? It's the like you can. That's how Ninth Wonder took off. They couldn't believe he was doing it. So it's just about mastering what you got. Man, that is crazy. Yeah, they is like on FL 22.
Yeah, they in the 20s. They in the 20s right now. So but I didn't even know because I never was using, the legit, the legit
one. Hey, but especially that was that software crack era.
Right.
Yeah, the crack.
So I didn't even know they was that far along. I'm like, man, wow, bro.
I know I've seen a couple of them. I'm like, that stuff probably do so much nowadays. You probably ain't even gonna realize how much stuff they do nowadays. Yeah, you did take off, and then it kind of helped develop. What would you say, like your you kind of came up with a unique sound too? Is that the sound we start to hear on like the water joints and stuff like that? That was kind of like you crafted your own kind of production style too, huh? And what was that influenced by?
Me starting out, me just using FL starting out, it was I didn't really have a music background to be playing instruments and all of that.
Music is all I got, nigga. You think you gonna take my spot, nigga? I don't sleep, I don't drink.
The easiest thing for me to understand was drums and percussion and all that. That always made sense to me. That always was something for me to easily understand. And
let's get it poppin', let's get it pop, pop. Let's get it poppin', let's get it pop, pop. It's that nigga with the half moon season.
In that era, when I was doing my thing, it was, Pharrell, Timbaland.
Right, because your joints had that bounce.
Chuck, Swiss. Chuck English was going crazy. Okay. Right. Definitely.
Chuck English from what was the name of the boy?
E40 and all that.
Yeah, E40. It was like that's what it's like a mixture of all of that. Cool kids. Yeah. It was. It had that that hype. That bounce.
He had that, and it was a bouncing. I'm trying to think of it was another Pac Div. It was a group called Pac Div, and they production was like that also. It had
I remember them. Yeah,
like a different unorthodox, drum heavy, bass heavy. And for me, it gave the lyrics more room.
Okay.
To kind of to kind of do their thing and kind of breathe, and where you can hear every word and all of that. That was
the way you structured the tracks.
Inspiration.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
That stuff. I'm like, okay, he got his own sound now, man. It's definitely different, man. Yeah, man, it got that bounce. How was it doing like some of those early shows? Like
don't hate the water. Word to my Aqua 8s, I still lace the water. But like a lifeguard, you washed over the water. You just a reservoir trying to take part of the water. Over and overflow with water. I was born in the desert where it's hard to find water. That Sin City held up piranha infested water where you gotta watch your back. It be snakes in the water. I said you gotta watch your back. It be snakes in the water. They only rush for gold like it's snakes in the water. I'm trying to roll out like the waves in the water. This long time I got paid for the water.
Because I know you started out doing the shows at what was it, Daddy Max or something like that? What was it? The one place
before that was the first one was at the taco spot across from UNLV.
Oh yeah, that was popping. That was popping.
It was taco. I think they closed down now, but that was like that was my first experience performing in front of a crowd.
Really? Yeah. That was nuts. What was out? What did you have out around that time? Like was it the second tape or what was out?
That was like Tell Me When to Go era.
Oh, that era. Okay, yeah.
So this probably like the Difference 2, like right in between the Difference 2 and Money Making Rap, like that like time period in between.
Okay, in between that, yeah. That was a big leap too. And speaking of Money Making Rap, that was one of my favorite tapes too. It's hard to like when you rate albums against albums, but Money Making Rap is always up there to me. What was the inspiration behind that, man?
Paid in Full. That was that's all it was. Like, you know, Paid in Full. That was one of my favorite movies. I'm watching every day.
Even from the cover, like the cover was just ill. It was like simple, it was clean, and it was ill. And that whole that was like an audio movie. That was like an audio movie.
Appreciate it. Yeah. That was my first take at like doing the concept project for real. You know what I mean? Like top to bottom.
Yeah, the concept. That was, man, it's still some bangers on there, man. From the grinding freestyle, you know, just all about the money. Like that was one of the, you know, top first favorite, you know, bodies of work.
And Jordan 5s. That was a big song for me at that time. Like,
that was on that tape,
definitely big record.
Jordan 5s, yeah. How many Jordan records did you do? Because that was like Water. You did a series of them, kind of like, didn't you?
Right. I had a few. I think it's I had a Jordan 3s, a Jordan 5. So on I think on a difference. I think the song was just called Shoes. And then I had a Jordan 3s, a Jordan 5s, then I got Jordan 8s. That's like the last one that I put out, the sweep joint.
Okay. Yeah. And then it was kind of like customary to put one almost on every tape, almost like a continuation of it or something like that. Yeah.
Each tape usually have either a Jordan joint or a Water joint on it.
Okay. Yeah, that's wild, man. And then we go to arguably probably at the top, which is the poster behind you, the Art Always, man. Now explain that whole process from.
Everybody got nothing to do with nobody else. So that team that think they're ready to see you, and think what they see on film, they ain't show what film show. Because every day is a new day. It's a man's day, boy.
Turn up. I can't lose. I can't lose. Watch this. They play ballin' like Jackie Moon. They wouldn't let me eat. I stole a plate like Jackie Robb. You can always find Rab in a pair of 5s. Fuck a Gamma Blue. Real niggas don't wait in line.
Putting that project together and how that experience was, because that probably was like one of the biggest looks. That was a major, you know what I'm saying? I seen the whole rollout for that, man. I seen the whole rollout for that.
That Art Always is like, that's like the Illmatic or like the Reasonable Doubt.
Right. You know what
I mean?
Yeah.
But at that time, right before I started putting that together, that's when I first linked up with Christian.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna speak on that too. Okay.
Yeah, and I had met Christian like a little bit earlier.
And y'all was working together before then. Like y'all was kind of working together. Like
Okay. He made the artwork for The Difference too. He was already around in that time period. Yeah, so he kind of like started getting involved. That's when he the one who uploaded the tape to all of the streaming sites. I mean, back then it was like the blog hosting sites or whatever the case. Okay. Mediafire and all that, like that era. And he came to me around that time. We was in front of Stussy, and he was saying like, I want to manage you. And he like a kid at the time. He like young, I think maybe 12th grade or just graduated or something like that. But he was like, yo, like, I want to manage you. And he was already doing the photography thing. He was getting into videography. So I'm like, man, let's do it. You know what I mean? I had already been doing my thing at that time, but it was like I just needed something to kind of push me over the edge.
To the next level.
Yeah. So we started locking in. And the first project, the first song that we, video that we put together was the 30K joint.
30K,
me going to that space. And this is actually, around the same time, like I'm doing shows, I'm going back and forth to LA. I'm going to visit, different art museums and all of that. And that was when I started getting the idea of like, me being an artist in the sense that, because that was like when music was kind of making a change and artists was going in different directions.
Right.
And I kept thinking that I wanted to make something that was timeless. I didn't want to try to keep up with the trends or make something that was currently or what's going on right now. My whole mindset was, I want to make this a work of art. That's something that's going to, outlive me. You feel me?
Right. So a literal work of art.
Facts. So that was my whole idea. Like during that project, it was like, how would an artist look at this? How would Clyde Monet look at this? That was before like all the different, you know, everybody was doing the art references and all that.
Right, it was. I remember it was before that whole wave. Yeah, it was before that wave.
It came out, of course, it came out in 2014, but that was a project that I worked on for a good amount of time. So
really,
it was but it was just the art in general that had just inspired that whole idea and made that CD what it was. And Art Always is my best project in my opinion, but it's also the only time I've made an album. It's the only time that I've sat down and consciously made the effort of I'm making an album right now. Other than that, it's a mixtape or it's a body of work of me just doing my thing. But that was like in my eyes, like this is my
album.
This is my project, straight up.
Yeah, that was phenomenal, man. And you got records like, you know, like you said, the 30K. That was the one y'all shot up in Mount Charleston, wasn't it?
Right.
Get well, Nelson. Mandela gotta raise our standards. Niggas what they call me. Nigga what they call you too. Red lights and blue lights. Whoa. Get about the car, you too. Why they want us all in cages? Cause if you speak up, then you rage. It's like we slaves either way. A nigga bill about 30K.
I remember that was crazy. And then you got the City on My Shoulders joint. I mean, like, man, that was.
Here's another Sam I Am and Ron Dizzle. Yeah. Real hip hop exclusive.
Yo, it's Hot 975. We got a world premiere going down today. The young homie, the Vegas native, he goes by T.Rabb, the truth.
I just hit up two-tone like I need a session. Hello. These niggas been rapping for 10 years, but ain't been progressing. My nigga, don't ask for a feature, you might learn a lesson. I got more verses than the West got churches, I might be a rapper.
That was for the city, but that was so ill. I remember the clip of y'all in the studio when y'all was coming up with the track. And who was the cat that you was working on with the track?
Blair Norf.
Blair Norf, right? Yeah. That was just, man, that sound was just like sonic, man. That was
like, and bro is a genius. Like he's a genius. So and the crazy thing was, I had originally, because you know we reflipped the at first it was a Soulja Boy song, and then Jay-Z and Jay Electronica did it, and I can't remember what the Nigga We Made It, that joint.
Oh yeah, Nigga We Made It. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
it was that record, and I'm at work at the time, and I'm writing to the instrumental where that Nigga We Made It. Like really? I'm writing, I think it was
Soulja Boy and Drake or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was them
like that
first.
Yeah, okay.
So I come up with it. At first, it's just I come up with a 16. I feel like because if I get into like the little flow, the same flow that they was using, I get into a little joint.
The cadence was nuts, man.
I catch that wave, and I'm like just going on and on. I come up with it, and I get with Christian, I get with Blair Norf. Christian, the one that linked me up with Blair, and we all in the stew, and I'm spitting my shit over that shit, and they was like, this shouldn't be a freestyle. Like, nigga, we need to make this a song. This need to be its own thing. So that nigga, for me, Blair went and got the original sample, reflipped the whole joint, and that because the beat is like the beat is way better than the first flip of that. Like the Soulja Boy and them version of that beat is not. It ain't nowhere near Blair version of that beat. Like.
Okay.
So he took different parts of the sample, redid it, did all of that. You feel me? Had the beat switch up halfway through.
Man, he had it crazy, man. He had it crazy. So
then I had Impact throw the hook on it.
Yeah, Impact he was the singing cat on it, right? Yeah.
He did.
That was just all the right elements was in place for that, man. That was just. That was huge.
And that was one of them joints I knew as soon as I recorded it, like just the whole when I came with the second verse and me talking all the UNLV stuff and all of that, I'm like, this is one of them joints. That
resonated with a lot of people, the UNLV, you know. And then how y'all had the intro, Jerry, it was just like every time you hear it, you just be like, man, dude. That's crazy though. And so was Blair Norf, was he from the North? Was he really from the North?
Yeah. Blair went to Cheyenne with me. He a little bit younger than me. And Blair always been like more of like a to himself type of person, but he's a big like person in the city. He's a big person outside of the city. He's done a lot of production for a lot of major people. Like
a lot of tracks and stuff he didn't put down.
Like he got joints with Freddie Gibbs. He got joints with Currency. Yeah, like a lot. He got a a crazy resume, and that was just working with him early.
I can imagine. Like
he had that
like
ear.
Low-key.
He had that ear. Yeah. Blair had a lot of joints on Not Always.
Yeah, that's crazy. How was the how did the culture of the North like you think affect you know, growing up in the North and stuff? How did that affect your music and just like everything, you think the impact of that growing up in the North? You know, because y'all had y'all own little area, which was kind of different from Northtown or West Side Vegas. Right. It was like y'all had your own pocket, man. So how was that growing up with that? Y'all was like on a whole nother vibe, man.
Of course, you know, me living in the North when I was younger, that was kind of, you know, a lot of influence, just seeing the different things, filling out the, you know, the area and all of that. Mm-hmm. And then when I moved like more towards like what you would call like the new North.
Yeah, further north.
You have that experience again. And of course, I'm still back and forth, you know, to the West Side, because, you know, that's where Grandma at, or me going to summer camp at Doolittle or whatever the case, and me seeing those different worlds. And also seeing, like, you know, when I got to the point to where I'm going to Cheyenne and all of that.
Okay.
It was kind of like a disconnect between the people who would say they from the West Side and then the people who would say, you know, I'm from Northtown. You know, some of it, you know, was the gang culture. Some of it was, you know, people just felt like the West Side was cooler than Northtown or whatever the case. But it was crazy to see, and I started to realize, like, this is North Las Vegas. This is you know, and that was kind of like this started shaping my thinking, was that that division of like, you had some people faking, trying to say they from the West Side, and you got other people that was disrespected if you said they was from the West Side. And they that's when I started to see that. And of course, you know, like I said, the gang culture that's going on at Cheyenne, all these different things. And that started to kind of like change my mind and kind of like, and of course, just the influence of how people dressing, how people talking. Like the
skateboard culture was real big. Yeah, so y'all had your own mixture of all kind of stuff going on.
Exactly. It was a whole like melting pot. And the music, I started to hear a lot of different, you know, artists doing their thing musically, but I didn't really hear any artists talking about Northtown. You know what I mean? Even the people who in this area, a lot of them, they would say West Side. You know what I mean?
They wasn't really repping the North like that, was it?
Yeah, or it was just Vegas. It was just Vegas. It wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't, I feel like just at that younger age, I feel like the North was kind of like looked down upon. It was like it had like a negative connotation of like it's the bad part of town, or you don't want to go over there, or you know what I mean. So I was seeing all these different things, you know what I mean, at the same time. But that was kind of how everything started, and then me, you know, linking up with Trey Voorhees and
shout out to Trey,
you know, and Ye and D-Mob, all of those different people. That was when I first, you know, got to look at the skate North culture.
Okay.
Because where I was like, the people I was around, they didn't skateboard and all of that, so I didn't really see that culture. We was more hooping or whatever the case. Niggas had skateboards, but it was like it was more transportation. They wasn't doing tricks.
It was they whips.
Right. Yeah. They getting, you know, A to B in them joints, but you know, me linking up with them and them doing a thing on the whole music tip, and then once you go see the hangout and they had Steve's Park and all of that, and you start to see, oh, this is like a whole, this up the street, but it's like a whole nother world.
It's like a whole nother world. Yeah, that's when y'all was recording at the Ford and all that.
But you know, initially it was Josh, you feel me, International. He introduced
Josh.
He introduced me to Trey, and Trey was already doing his thing, and I had never heard of Trey. And like I said, it's crazy because he up the street.
He was doing his thing. Shout out to Trey.
He 5 minutes away from me, and I had never heard of him, but he was already doing his thing. Like, he on the blog sites on Ill Roots and all the major blogs at that time. And the homie telling me, like, bro, like, he's out of here. Like, he's, you know what I mean? I'm surprised you never heard of him. And he's crazy. The one that introduced me to trade, and that was like, it was a whole, because it was like they was like pro level, you know, trade, all of they was that next level. Yeah, Sean Rose, all of them, they was all pro level rapping. You know what I mean? SU at the time, SU. I was seeing him doing this thing in high school, but when I got kind of more in the North scene, all of these people are like, it's almost like a oh no, it was like another level of MCing, and they all knew each other.
It was a lead
MC, you know, and they all knew each other. It was like a shooters respect shooters type of thing. Okay. Like y'all don't even, I didn't even know who a lot of these different cats was, but that was, you know, all of this was a part of me getting ingratiated in the whole Northtown culture. Like I was already in it, already was being raised in it, but that was the first time I was seeing it, and they saying, "I'm from Northtown," you know, straight up. Like
they was proud to represent it.
Okay. Facts. All of them was on that heavy. Like, of course, I was already in there, but that was the first time I was really seeing, you feel me, MCs doing it like that, rappers doing it like that. Of course, I seen you feel me, the street cats doing that, like nigga, I'm from Northtown, niggas is tripping, whatever the case. But it was the first time I had, and of course, you know, it was a lot of, you know, different, you know, rappers before my time that was talking that Northtown shit, you know, crazy, and was really banging on wax. And
they was banging,
you know, but for my generation, I had never heard niggas talking that Northtown shit.
Right.
So once I got around them, it was like, damn, like, you know, this Northtown is official. Like it had me like they gave me that energy to be proud, you know what I mean, to be from Northtown. Like it became like, and that was that all of that played such a big role to Cheyenne and me meeting Trade and all that played a big role in that.
That's crazy when you look back, man, because y'all really put it on the map, and it had cats checking like, okay, what's the Northtown about? You know what I mean? What's like what they got going on? It was like a whole nother, like you said, a world within a world. But I think all y'all was like, y'all swords was nice, y'all lyrics, everybody was tight, and it kind of made everybody else elevate their game. You know what I mean? So that was crazy, that whole era, man. Thanks. Shout out to Trey. Trey, as I was on his Twitch last night, he said, man, ask Rabb about them beats I sent him, man. He said, I sent him some beats, man.
Right.
So we got to talk about it, you know, so. But
fact.
Yeah.
TV is, he's very instrumental in what I've become as an artist. You know what I mean? Definitely. And even just as a person, like, you know, even back when I wasn't even whipping like that, he taking me back and forth to the studio and you know, and just seeing somebody doing it at that level is just, you know how it is when you're an artist, when you get around other people who doing the same thing and they doing it at a high level.
At a high level,
it make you get in your bag, it make you step up, it make you, you know what I mean, come with a different energy and and that it was like Gladiator School in the fort, you know what I mean?
In the fort, for real. Yeah. Toxic was in there. He was in that time frame too. Yeah,
Toxic, Leroy, Steinfield, Thelonious,
Shine. Y'all was deep.
We all in the stew, and you know that's when we was at T.Rabb, and we in the garage recording our shit, TV recording everything, and you in there with 20 other people. They letting your joint go, and you got all eyes on you, and you recording your verse, and you don't want to be the person taking 1,000 takes. This all like made all of us better. It made us write faster. It made us sharper. Like everybody jumped significantly in that time, skill level wise. I feel like.
That's crazy that all y'all was in one thing, man. That's crazy. Facts. At one point, man. But them early years like that make your career. That make and shape your career, man.
Definitely.
That's wild, man. And so you said, the whole thing working with Christian, man. That was something too, because he was like yourself. He was a creative too. That could, like, y'all both could, you know, had a vision, then y'all could execute that vision too.
Exactly.
Yeah, he had the video game type. You know what I mean? All that stuff, man. That's straight.
Yeah.
How did you feel about because you came up kind of like in the mixtape era too. How did you feel about like the mixtape era, that whole run that it had? I don't know what kind of happened to it, but it was hot for a minute, like when Wayne was doing his thing. And how did you feel about that whole era of the game?
That's my favorite time of music.
Yeah.
That's my favorite time of music. Me being in high school and Lil Wayne dropping all that music, the game beefing with 50 Cent and he making stop snitching and stop lying, all of that. That was my favorite, you know, going to Tate, going to the barbershop, and every week is new Jada Kiss, new Joe Budden, new whatever the case. That was my favorite time in hip hop, just because the labels and everything was so strict, but what an artist could do, you know, when they're making their albums, when they working with the labels money, that the mixtape was they only free reign and really like, this is who I am as an artist for real.
Right.
And that was just some of the best music I've ever heard.
Some of the best. And cats they was pumping a lot of stuff out. They was pumping a lot of content out, man. That was a good era, man. I missed that era. Like you got the drama tapes and you know, like all that. That was huge. It was
crazy.
Yeah, that was huge, man. I definitely missed that era, man. You know. And moving on, I want to ask you about Nipsey Hussle. Because you had, you know, a lot of inspiration, you know, from that. But like, just explain that whole, because you kind of like was put a lot of cats onto him, man, even before, you know, his untimely death, man.
Right.
And where did you kind of like start locking in and checking for Nips? Because I know you know, like he's on his independent thing, just his whole thing. Right. So when did you really start checking for him like that, man?
The first time, I feel like a lot of people's first experience with Nip was when he did the song with Drake. He had a song called Killers with Drake.
Killers with Drake, okay.
That was the first time I had heard of him. I'm like, okay, this nigga nice. His flow is crazy. It was just so authentically West Coast. It just gave you that kind of feel. But it was my homies Ashen, D-Ran at the time, Akil. They was listening to I can't remember the name of the tape. I don't know if it was I don't want to. No, this is before that.
Before Crenshaw, okay. Bullets Without a Name or something, like he had some.
It wasn't that far back though. I can't remember the name of the tape, but it was it had the 7 days a week joint on there. It was a lot of like that project, and it was like a mixtape. He was like rapping over other joints and all of that. He rapped over the Million joint, the Jay-Z joint.
Okay.
But that was like the first time I'm like, bro, that was the Blue Laces 2, I think.
Okay.
That was like kind of like my introduction to Nip, and I was like, bro, that was the music of that time. That was the music of that era that we was listening to, like when we, you know, going back and forth doing the shows or whatever the case. So that's what first got me hip to him. I started locking in from there. Of course, Crenshaw, but the Mailbox Money, that was when I was like, I'm a legit Nip fan now. You know what I mean? I was already rocking with that
whole thing, huh?
Yeah, but when he came with the, you know, the Proud to Pay and all of that, you know, built the hype around the project. And then when I heard the project, it was so motivational. Just the energy of that CD. You know what I mean? Like it just put me in a whole nother mindset. That's when, you know, you working on your art and you know, going to work at the same time. So I'm doing shows, you know, getting done performing at 2-3 in the morning, then having to get up at, you know, 5:36 in the morning.
Right.
And that was a soundtrack, you know, to my life at that time. That Mailbox Money, that was when, okay, I'm diehard Nip now. So
okay, yeah.
And that
was early on, yeah. Because I checked for him in Crenshaw, then I really didn't check for Mailbox Money. I don't know why, but then I just kind of skipped over and stuff. But that's crazy. So you was on him for a minute then, huh? Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I was on him early.
What do you think? How his impact on the game was, as far as the independent, as far as changing like what was going on with the game, as far as the artist taking control, like his whole business acumen about the game. How did you feel about that?
To me, it was. I felt like it was similar to my thinking. And just on a level, because I'm nowhere near that level of a business mind at this point. But it was an artist mindset for him to say, well, nigga, I feel like my CD is worth $100.
Right.
Or well, I feel like my CD is worth $1,000. You know what I mean? Like that's artist thinking, to where
and that's
you
art.
Can't tell me what my CD is worth.
Right.
Because my CD is worth what someone is willing to pay for.
Right.
So if they're willing to pay $1,000, nigga, it's worth $1,000. So that was the thing that kind of like had me like, you know, him putting that out there and his authenticity.
Right.
I feel like it's different.
Yeah.
You know, it's just different. And as he got better and better, you don't really, and of course I feel like, I think Mailbox Money was the last like official like project, and then you get, you know, his first album with the Victory Lap, but his leaps just as an artist on each project
was huge.
Like the leap from Mailbox Money to the Victory Lap is crazy.
Yeah, that was huge.
You know what I mean? You can argue about what you feel like is the better project or what you like better, but his ability to rap, the production, what he's talking about, it's like he's jumping by leaps and bounds, and it's like that like inspired me, and that's something that you don't see that often in the game, to where it's like a reinvention, but it's still the same him.
Right. It is. Yeah. I mean? Yeah. It was a different version of him. Yeah. Definitely inspiration, man. I know I'd hit you when he had passed, and he was like, so it was almost like you knew, like you knew, like I had to hurry up and kind of like get people to know. A lot of people, you know, within our family and outside said the only reason they knew about him was because of you, you know. So, and that's crazy, man. And look now, you in LA now.
Like I just felt that connection. Yeah, I felt that connection to him. I don't know, I don't know what it was, but that's what a great artist does. You know, when they're great at what they do, you feel like you know them. You feel like you know what I mean. It's somebody who, you know what I mean. You have all these different similarities with, and it feel like someone who is speaking from your perspective of, you know, these different things. Like, no matter what I've been through, no matter what I'm going through, I'm going to change all of this. I'm going to change how the game works. I'm going to, you know what I mean? He already had that idea of like, I don't care what the rules are now. Like, nigga, I'm changing. Like, this, y'all gonna play by my rules. Yeah, and he was making that happen.
He was making it happen. Yeah, he really was. Yeah, he really was, man. Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Nip, man. Definitely inspiration. Thank everybody in the game. You know, inspiration.
Facts.
What platforms can we find your music on, man? What ones do you prefer, one over the other? Like as far as the platforms and everything?
No, I mean, you know, to each his own. Tidal, Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud. It's pretty much anywhere where you can get music. I like Apple Music just because I have an iPhone. You know, it works. You know, pretty.
I like their interface. I like how they stuff runs.
Spotify has great playlists. Tidal has great playlists. You know, so I know everybody has their different preferences. You know, but I try to keep up and try to, you know, make sure I keep the music everywhere. But
put them on.
I mean, YouTube, anywhere where you can find music, you know, you should be able to find T.Rabb.
Okay, definitely. And how did you feel about when the game shifted from more like we in this digital era now? Because like you was around when it was like the CD boys, when you had to have the physical joints. So how did you feel? It was like a gradual shift, but how do you feel about how we shifted into the digital era like that?
I feel like it has its pros and cons. You know what I mean? It has its pros and cons. At that time, of course, you know, the shift in music was Napster and all of them coming out.
Right.
To where it was like, nigga, they had to make it digital. They really didn't have a choice.
Napster could have been Apple Music if they were smart.
Facts.
Yeah, they could have been. Yeah.
They the one because they had shit going so crazy that the industry had to change.
They had to
figure out something else, because it's like, if we don't make this music more easily accessible, they're not going to go buy the CDs no more. They're going to just rip all the music.
Yeah. I forgot who said it. I can't remember. Somebody said people still want the music, they just don't want to pay for it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, man, that's crazy. But I think it was genius how whether you subscribe to Apple Music, and I got that, and Spotify, I had Tidal, but it's almost like you buying an album a month, but you got unlimited music, you know, for $9.99 but you got everything. So it's kind of like on that aspect of it, it's a great deal. You know what I mean? But
that's what I like is the access.
Yeah,
to where access, you don't have to go through that, because even like your era, like you know, a little bit of my era was music was damn near like shoes, how shoes are now.
Yeah.
To where if you didn't get to that store in time, you're not getting the CD.
You're not getting
that whole idea of you missing out on a CD is over with. That shit don't even exist no more.
That's over with. Yeah.
It's on it's as soon as you 11:59, you know the album is on your phone. So you don't have that, you know, people not clamoring for music like.
And that was nostalgic too. You know what I mean? If we take it back to Nip, that's what made the physical CD such something like, no, this is worth $100. It ain't the download boy, but this is the physical boy that makes it. It's a nostalgic to it, you know.
Exactly.
But and then you don't have to like, even like from my era as far as DJing, when like even before, like, I mean, the records was one thing, but then when it went to the CDs, you carrying all these CDs. Now everything is on the hard drive.
It's right on your phone, right?
You know what I mean? Or on your phone. Right, so that, you know, that's just crazy, man, in itself, man. You know, definitely.
So that's just like what you're saying. That's what I love about it is any project, any album that even if I think of, or you put me on to something and say, you know, have you heard this album? Or I can go right there and listen to it. You know, I don't have to try to find it. I don't have to try to go store to store looking for it. Any album of any era is always on the phone.
It's on there. And then sometimes I'm surprised at what's on there. I'm like, man, they must have been working nonstop to digitize the whole all the music stuff. I'm like, ain't no way this is on there. It's on there. You know what I mean? I'm like,
stuff that came out on tape, came out on record. It's all on the streaming site. Because everybody trying to get their spins.
Yeah. I remember the tape. Do you think the artist still has, like, with the publishing, do you think the digital part kind of took away from the you know, like the earnings of it? Like, do you think, like, and it shifted to where you got to kind of make money another way now or something like that? Do you think that kind of took away from it?
I think so, definitely. But it's like, you can look at it two ways, because with the Napster era, it's like, it could have been a point to where niggas ain't making no money off music. Right. That could have been the direction that it went in.
It could have murdered everything. Huh?
Right. They could have just straight up killed it to where like the labels are going out of business. You know, but on the flip side, it kind of can get to a point to where it's, you know, with the streaming sites and all of that, it's really pennies on a dollar. It's really a fraction of a penny for a play.
Right.
So you got to think about it, like, someone can hear your song enough times to learn the words, and you ain't made $1 yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's
and if it was another system, you would, but you're right. They listening to it every day or something. You right.
Running it like that. So if you're not a major artist, you're not, like, you know, because you can get your, you know, your couple of dollars, but you got to think, like, people listening to your music thousands of times, millions of times, and you know that you're getting a fraction of that. Because you got to think, it's very rare that you're getting the worth of a purchase, because there's no reason to buy it.
There's no reason to buy it.
There's no reason to buy it.
I'm surprised that even, like, how Apple still has the buy option on the phone. I'm like, why would they even buy it if they can just? It's crazy how it just shifted like that, man. You know,
the only way someone's going out of their way to make a purchase is to support the artist directly. They're really saying, I want to support this artist.
Yeah, to definitely support.
You got people who they biggest fans of so-and-so. They not even thinking twice about buying a CD or buying a single. Or they think they supporting by pressing play. That's their support. Is pressing play on it.
Right. That is nuts, man. That's nuts, man. That's nuts. What can we expect coming up from you, man? I know you dropped the latest joint. What was that one joint with you was on the cover? What was the last one?
Charismatic guy. The only way you smacking if she drunk or high. Hold on. Call the FBI.
Over the top.
Last one,
Clamping / Curtis.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy, man. So what can we expect from you, man, for, like, you know, for the rest of the year? You just dropping some singles and stuff, which is they've been fired though too. You know what I mean? That kind of, you know.
Yeah, I've been working on a project, so the project will be coming soon. You know, as soon as I get everything finished, I set a date for it. I'm trying to get that out by before the year's out. Okay. Before then, I'm gonna you know, keep dropping singles. Probably drop like a little 3-pack, 4-pack soon.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Just want to keep on putting out music. But yeah, that's gonna be the next thing. So make sure everybody, you know, follow me at the T.Rabb. I'm gonna keep everybody updated and letting everybody know what's going on next. But it's gonna be another project this year for sure. Okay, definitely, man. And how do you feel about the music industry and the pandemic? How do you feel about that when this whole thing hit? It's tough. It's definitely tough, just because you can't perform. And everything is so crowd based. Yeah. And then they take away, you know, everything is based on that. You know what I mean? Like I said, you can do your thing with the streaming, but even with the artists that's on, and for me also, that I don't get the majority of my money off of music from streaming. That's not where it comes from. You know what I mean? That's like that's a small part of the pie. So not being able to do shows and shows connect to merch and all of those different things. So it's like, you know, it becomes a tough thing. It was like a chain reaction, like, wasn't it? Yeah. So, you know, I'm not, you know, big touring on that type of level to where, you know, it hit my pockets like that. But especially for the major artists and all of that, it's like, that's where they make most of their money, is doing and then shows. They just snatched that rug from up under them, dude. That was like the last thing. Yeah, it was just like, and that's entertainment in general. Any type of entertainment where it's somebody paying to sit in the audience. They took a hard hit.
Yeah. Cats running out getting the OnlyFans page. I mean, like, hold on, you getting one too? You know what I mean? So, right. But that's nuts, man. You know how that just didn't nobody see it coming. You know what I mean? Didn't nobody see that coming?
Right. It was a tough time. It was a tough time for everybody.
Yeah.
But someone who's making their money off of, doing live shows. That's tough.
Yeah. Definitely gotta bounce back, man. Speak on being well, one other thing. What about the inspired the Northtown University merch? I mean, I was feeling that, man. What inspired that, man? Yeah. Can we expect any more merch from you coming, or what?
Oh yeah, I got a lot of different things under the wing now. I'm just waiting, waiting to drop and waiting to premiere. I'm just getting everything together. Working with a lot of different designers in the city, doing collabs and all that. So it's gonna be a lot of stuff coming soon. But it was for me personally, I've been making Northtown stuff. I've been making shirts and all that different things, but I would never really make it to sell. I would just make it for myself. If I got a show or I got a photo shoot, I'll make different merchandise or whatever the case. But the whole university thing was just kind of seeing what Northtown had turned into as time went on.
Right.
Kind of seeing it from my era, because I was like, when my part of the North was still kind of fairly new, and then getting to the point to where the city kept on getting built on and built on, and it's going farther and farther north, and how big it had became, and how it being from the North really is a style. It's really walk a certain way, talk a certain way, certain kind of music, dress a certain way. So, and I felt like I was a child of the Northtown University. I was a product.
A student.
I came out of that. So I kept thinking, what was a good way for me to put this, kind of like to show like we all like alumni. If you really, it's like that. It's like that type of energy. Yeah. So that's what I was thinking, kind of when I went that way, and the city supported it. So I appreciate.
They did big time. Yeah, it sold out really, huh? It sold out.
Yeah, I had to restock it instantly. At first, I didn't know how it was gonna move, and the first little pack I copped, I got rid of that in like maybe a week, and then I was like, okay, this like I see the draw for it.
Yeah.
And I started making a lot, different designs, more designs. So that's the thing now.
And it was simple and it was clean. It was simple and it was clean though. Yeah, and it spoke to everything, man. It kind of incorporated like your love for like basketball,
right,
Norf and all that. You know what I mean? But it was definitely I like that, man. I think being a creative, man, you just find different outlets to kind of, whether it be art, whether it be design, whether it be music, it's all kind of like painting, stroking the brush, man, so
right.
It's definitely been,
and that's kind of what I thought was just, I had the idea of like, why wear somebody else's brand? Why wear somebody else's, you know what I mean? Promoting somebody else's thing when everything can go back to the same umbrella, to where this is all, this all T.Rabb, you know what I mean?
Right. You promote and spending the money you spend to rock somebody else's stuff, I can be rocking my own stuff.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. That's huge, man. Definitely, man. So, man, anything else, man, you want the people to know before we get out of here, man? We're going to have all the links in the bottom, man, everything to follow his page, all the music, links to the music and whatnot, the social media stuff. How important do you think social media is in this day and age? Because, like, you can kind of, not in a, advantage way, but you can kind of leverage your following in a certain way. Because if you got... X amount of people that rock with you, then they more apt to, buy your products or buy your, music or support you and stuff. How hard, how valuable do you think a social media following is in this day and age?
I think it's everything now. Yeah. It's everything now. You know what I mean? Of course, the best thing is a marriage between both worlds of, the internet and reality, really being outside and really interacting with people and all that, of course. But with the internet now, you can see the rise and fall of a star without someone even leaving their crib. You know what I mean?
That's true.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's of course it can be deceiving. You know what I mean? It is hard because you got people faking numbers and people looking like they're doing this or doing that or whatever the case. But that's just marketing, promotion, and in general. Whenever you have a business selling something. you know, there's no telling what's real and what's fake. So it's kind of difficult because people will look at, you got a certain amount of followers and they'll instantly either respect it or disrespect it based on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is true.
See the product.
But if you got a genuine base, they rock with you. Genuine base.
And it's a good way to be able to, you know, talk to your following, you know what I mean? Interact with your following in an easy way. You know, the era before this, everything was email blast and all of that. And now you got people who can just, you know, they can automatically see whatever you're doing. You know what I mean?
They can tap right in.
It's definitely important.
Yeah, tap right in. Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, because you got the YouTube channel, you got the Instagram, you got all the platforms. Yeah, definitely. We'll put all them links out, man. Yep, absolutely. Okay, man, we're gonna wrap it up. The streets of Vegas, man. Anything else you want the people to know? T.Rabb, man.
Nothing at all. I mean, everything is at the Truth Rab. If you're trying to find me any of the social sites, more content coming soon on everything. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been supporting me. You know, thank you to the city of Las Vegas, city of North Las Vegas, everybody who's been showing love over all of these years, putting other people on. I just want to say I appreciate it. You know, that's the most important thing. I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you for having me for an interview. Like you said,
absolutely,
it was past due. You know, definitely a great interview.
Yeah, definitely, man. We're getting it together, man. So y'all stay tuned for more of the Truth Rab, man. We're gonna sign off. The streets of Vegas. Peace. We out. All right, brother. Appreciate you. Appreciate your time.
Already.
All right.
You think it ain't real out here in these streets? It's real out here in these streets.
The streets of Vegas.